So let's start with the big question, right? What actually makes a prediction sound, well, convincing? I mean, it's not just about the stats, is it? It's so much more. It's the language they use, the way they structure the argument, how the whole thing is framed. I want you to keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we'll look at the source material itself. Then, we'll spot a really obvious pattern, check out a tactical exception to that pattern, decode their confidence score, and then wrap it all up by asking, what does it all really mean?
So, our source material for today is this really high energy script from back on November 25th. It was laying out predictions for a big night of football: Champions League, championship, the whole deal. Now, the goal of that script was super clear: sound confident, sound like an expert, and of course, be persuasive. Our job today? It's to figure out exactly how they pull that off.
All right, so the first thing you always do when you're breaking something like this down is look for patterns. What's the big idea they keep coming back to? What's the main story they're trying to sell you? And trust me, in this script, a super clear theme pops up almost right away. And there it is, over 2.5 goals. Get this, out of the 6 predictions in the entire script, a whopping 5 of them are for over 2.5 goals. Now that's no accident. This isn't just some random collection of tips. It's a very deliberate pattern. It builds this narrative of nonstop action, excitement, and tons of goals, which, let's be honest, is way more engaging to listen to.
Just look at the language they use for the Dortmund versus Villarreal game. The script doesn't say, hey, there might be a few goals. No way. It says the match has goals written all over it. That's what you call deterministic language. It makes the outcome sound like it's already a done deal, like it's fate. Okay, this one might be my favorite. For Manchester City against Leverkusen, they pull out this incredible metaphor. City aren't just a good team, they're a force of nature. Think about what that means. A force of nature is unstoppable, right? It's inevitable, like a storm or a tidal wave. It's such a powerful way to make you feel confident in the pick.
And then you've got the Galatasaray tip. Here, they link something from outside the pitch, the fiery atmosphere of the crowd, directly to what's going to happen on the pitch. They're basically telling you a simple story. Loud fans equals attacking football, and attacking football equals goals. It's a clever way to tie raw emotion right into the prediction.
And for Chelsea versus Barcelona, they tap into history and prestige. They call it a classic European tie. That phrase alone adds this whole layer of importance, right? It suggests that on big nights like these, the star players, the attacking talent, are just destined to show up and score goals. It feels natural.
So when you lay it all out like this, you can see the pattern so clearly. For 5 different matches, they're building this consistent story using really powerful emotional language. Everything is pointing to one thing: goals, goals, goals. But, a really persuasive argument often needs a little twist, a counterpoint. And that brings us to the clever exception in the script.
Think about it. If every single pick was exactly the same, it might start to sound a little, well, simplistic, maybe even lazy. So a smart script needs to show some range. It needs an exception to the rule. And that is exactly what we get with their very last Champions League tip. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got 5 predictions all about action, raw emotion, and nonstop excitement. But then for Ajax versus Benfica, it's a totally different vibe. The pick is for under 3.5 goals, and they frame it as a tight, tactical battle. This contrast is so important. It makes the whole thing feel more sophisticated, like the analysis isn't just one note. It shows they can appreciate a goal fest and a strategic battle of wits. Okay, let's switch gears for a second and talk about another really powerful tool they're using all over this script, the confidence score. That little number out of 10 they stick on every single prediction. But what is that number really doing? Well, you can see it creates this very clear hierarchy. Right at the top, you've got Man City, all alone at a 9 out of 10. Then there's this solid middle group at 8 out of 10. And funnily enough, that tactical under goals pick is in there too. And then you have the 7 out of 10s. What this does is it basically tells you, the listener, hey, pay attention to this one the most. It guides your focus. And here's the most important thing to understand about this: the confidence score. It's not some scientific formula. It's a tool of persuasion. It's designed to take what is basically a subjective opinion and wrap it in the objective, trustworthy language of numbers. It gives you the impression of statistical certainty, making it feel like there's some super rigorous process behind it all.
So where does that leave us? What happens when you put all these pieces together? The patterns, the vivid language, the numbers. You start to see this really clear communication strategy. And it's all designed to do one thing: make you feel confident about something that is, by its very nature, totally uncertain.
So let's just recap the toolkit here. They're using action-packed language to get you excited. They're repeating that over 2.5 goals idea to build a simple, powerful story. Then they throw in that one tactical curveball to look balanced and nuanced. They anchor it all with those confidence scores to make it feel scientific. And they use emotional stuff like crowds and history to make it all feel, well, inevitable.
And that really leaves us with one big question to think about. When you're listening to content like this, are you getting pure cold analysis? Or are you getting a form of entertainment? A performance, really, that's been designed to be as compelling and as convincing as it possibly can be. That line between the two, it's often a lot blurrier than we realize. Definitely something to keep in mind the next time you hear about a surefire tip.